Alrighty. I'm going to do something I haven't done before. Or at least it's been so long that I don't remember I've ever done it before. Loru, who I absolutely love, and he's the inspiration for the Even Joyer song. He's got a video where he says that multiboxing ensures invincible freighter hauling. And I mean, you all know what I'm going to say, right? What's the right ship and the right fit? I'm sure you all know it. You can put it in chat. You already know what I'm going to say. And so let's take a look at this video and see what is going on with Loru. Yeah.
Please help. We have improved the safest way to fly around New Eden in your freighter, hauling all your big items and ensuring billions get to market A-OK. And by the end of this video, you're going to be able to call yourself an advanced hauler inside of EVE Online. So if you want the best EVE Online guides, you came to the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, Loru here, digital advertiser, content creator, and EVE enjoyer for the better part of 10 years now. And some potato.
He says he's an EVE enjoyer. I mean, I kind of expected it, and I gotta say that anytime I hear it, I think of this song.
Piloting my cruiser, everything's in sight. Warp drive humming, everything feels right. Ships fully fitted, ready for the fight. In the world of EVE, we're reaching new heights.
All right, so we'll come back to that because I do feel like he at least gets the respect of that song is awesome and he's an EVE enjoyer. All right, so let's see here. He's got an Avalanche.
Before we get to this meat. This guide is not for beginner freighter haulers, and flying freighters incorrectly will literally risk you losing years of work potentially. As always, y'all, you are never safe.
117
and
billion.
You have been warned. With that said, let's dive in, huh? And luck favors the prepared, everybody.
All right, so I do see that it's a little bit off. Here, let me try refreshing this and see what happens.
Well, we've done it, y'all, with the community's help. We have... It is not for beginner freighter haulers, and flying freighters incorrectly will literally risk you losing years of work potentially. As always, y'all, you are never safe in EVE. And you have been warned.
Off, but maybe it's the video.
Said, let's dive in, huh? And luck favors the prepared, everybody. And here is the ship you're going to need to set up every single bookmark, read warpable point that you need to keep your goods safe.
I thought this was a freighter video, Loru.
Patience.
Yeah, I thought it was freighter video too. So the if you haven't ever done the bookmarking before, and it's hard to do from JITA because JITA has what, 3 exits now? So you got to kind of know which one you're at, which I have a hard time telling which one I'm coming out of. But basically, you just insta warp out to something, and then you warp off, and that way you don't get caught right at the gate. But let me tell you something. Well, let's see if he goes over this, because there's a thing that they do to catch the freighters at their insta warps. Let's see if he talks about it.
My son, patience. It is. This little tugboat guarantees the safety of all my billions of hauling goodies. And the primary focus of this little Punisher is to go as fast as possible so that you can get on-grid bookmarks. You are cap stable going 8,700 ms. This is extremely fast and will get you any bookmark you need. And trust me all, when you come out of the station with this, you are a bullet out of a gun. Now, the moment that you undock, you're going to double click in an area of space that's directly in front of you. Let's double click right here and make sure our micro warp drive is on. You can press Control D, Command D to make sure that your point is actually forward, not going down, up, left, or right. Command D is going to open up this lovely radial grid for you. This will work if, when you come out of the station, you're going straight on. If you go to the left a little bit or to the right a little bit, eventually you're going to be over here, and that's not ideal. Your ship's going to have to turn, and you will not be able to get your instant warp point. Once your stuff's on, I would just go get a sandwich or something and then come back in like 5 or 10 minutes. We're already just in the span of us talking about 400 km away from Jeddah. Look at the wrecks, y'all. What is going on today? Crimson Harvest in full swing. And once you're far enough away, you're going to press Control B. That's going to open up this new location spot. Insta warp off. Yeah. We save that. And now any ship you own can go to that point the moment it undocks, even your freighters. Now, I have a couple of these bookmarks in between 500 and 3,000 away. I like to keep the gankers guessing by having multiple places for us to warp to. Now, the full fit for this Punisher will be in the link in the description. It's totally free, takes 2 clicks, enjoy. And speaking of freighters, we need to talk about a couple things before we move on to the actual Avalanche itself.
All right, so let's talk about that undock thing, the bookmarks. Here's the issue, is that people will have, so he's talking about going 300, 500K out or whatnot. That may not be enough. And when you're headed out, and you go out to one of these bookmarks out there, which I've done really deep, and I've had faster ships than what he shows there for bookmarking, and I've gone just for an entire day out in a direction. And here's the problem: is you never even get to full AU. So now I've been caught at my bookmarks before, and so here's how you get caught, and that is that the gankers will have a combat scanning ship with their drones or their probes already tightly focused in on that stretch of area where you are going to land. And even if you're half a AU out, they're probably still going to resolve you by having it so cinched tight, and then they hit the scan button right when you head out. They know exactly where you're at. They warp to you before you even get going. Before you can make it to warp, they warp to you. And that's how it's like they insta combat probe you. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is they already have them focused in on the right area. But the second reason is that freighters are huge. And so they're really easy to do. And so if you're the only Fenrir out there or the only Avalanche or whatnot, and they saw you take off, and they know you're that direction, and there's only one Avalanche that shows up on the scan, and then they warp to it, and there you are. It's really that easy. I can do it. I understand how it's done. I can do it. I'm not a ganker type person, but I could do it. All right, let's continue on.
We have a video where we go over the basics of freighter hauling. I feature a fit in that video that I will never be using again. I also talk about how you can solo freighter haul in that video. I will never be solo hauling again. And it's all thanks to you, yes you, the viewer. You showed me the light. You helped me to understand that multiboxing is the way to get this literal knuckle from A to B. So here's the fit I'm gonna be using for all my freighters, not jump freighters. That's a future video, so sub for that. Y'all, I don't know, this fit seems a little bit too complicated. Oh my gosh. Now hear me. When you multi-box your freighters, you are either going to brick tank with full reinforced bulkheads, or you're going to use full cargo expanders in the lows, but...
Oh my goodness. Okay. Do you guys see how much those things are worth? The ore bulkheads? He's adding what? 500-600 million to the value of the ship. I don't think he has anything in it. It's saying 2.8 billion. So, okay, guys. You know what I'm going to say, right? You never, ever, ever use or items in your freighter. You don't. You can use them in a jump freighter. A jump freighter does not have a correct fit. A freighter has a correct fit. There's the right ship and the right fit. He did show the right ship there for a minute. This one's not it. It's the other one. It's the Obelisk. And the right fit is Tech 2 reinforced bulkheads. That is the right fit. If you want to increase, if you want to get more EHP, use implants. And you can get up to almost 700,000 DHP. What has he got here? He's got 509,000 DHP. And then he mentioned ore cargo expanders?
I recommend you never do that. You're not going to mix your modules either. You're not going to put some bulkheads and some cargo expanders. Let me show you why. Right now, my Charon has 510,000 EHP. We have the blinged out or reinforced bulkheads in the lows. If I remove this and put in an Expando Cargo Hold 2, you see our tank goes down to 363. We lose 140,000 effective HP. Now we do go up from 493,000 M3 to a solid 628,000 M3. But y'all, when I tell you this is what the gankers want you to do, the lower your EHP is, the easier you are to gank. So I almost never fly with expanded cargo holds. If I do get to my destination and I have a little bit extra that won't fit in my freighter, what I will do is use a specific cargo hold that minimizes the amount of structure hit points taken away. The basic expanded cargo hold only takes away 5% of our structure and still gives us...
Okay, so listen. If you are just this close to being able to fit your cargo, and you've got triple bulkheads, triple brick in there, pull one of the bricks out. You don't have to put anything in there. You pull one of the bricks out. I mean, there's other stuff you could put in there, like some sort of resistance thing or something. But if you just pull one out, your space goes up. You don't have to. Inertia stab? Nah. Don't even worry about those because you don't get going fast enough. And so, yeah, I don't... This just totally goes against what I preach, which is that Tech 2 bulkheads, 3 of them in an obelisk. I know that the cargo space is the lowest in that configuration, but it is, it's the right thing to do.
That's a pretty decent cargo capacity bonus. I will take...
Another thing is that with having the ore stuff in here, he then he lowers the amount of cargo that he can haul before gankers look at him and say, oh, you're a tasty target. Because already as it is, you know, we're sitting at like between 1.5 and 2 billion is somewhere. You go over 2 billion and you are now into the territory of they see you and they start salivating. And so, and it doesn't take very much. They're animals. So you're at the point where if you're putting in those modules, and let's see and like these 281,000 each, you know, if you're putting 3 of those in, well, next thing you know, you're at 800. No, yeah, you're at almost 800 million in there. And so what have you got left for your cargo? I mean, not that you would run these either. I don't not ever recommend running expanded cargo hold anything.
Take one of these in my inventory at all times so that if I need some extra, I'll throw this in. We only go down to 415,000 EHP and we go up to 580,000 M3. But again, I almost never do this because I don't want to make it too easy for the gankers to take me out. And I really only fly 2 freighters in high sec. That's the Charon, the Caldari version,
have his
and
kill
the
board?
Obelisk. These are the best freighters
Has
for
he
you
ever
to
died in a
fly,
freighter?
period, full stop. The Obelisk has the highest EHP of any freighter. The Charon has the highest cargo capacity of any freighter. So even if I brick tank my Charon, I still have 500 something thousand.
So so he's got more ore stuff in here, 3 billion, and he doesn't even have anything else in there yet. And so he's getting higher EHP. Yes, he is. But there's a different way to do this. A different way where the gankers don't know that you are tanked. And that is that you put regular Tech 2 reinforced bulkheads here, and then you put in implants that equal armor. And there's some nice sets out there, and I if I remember right, it's about 698,000 with the Tech 2 bulkheads and the implants. Now the implants are costly; they're a couple billion, but when the gankers scan you, because they almost always scan you beforehand, when they scan you, they don't know that you have that stuff in. And so even if they're estimating over by another 10%, many times they will fail to kill you because it wasn't on the scan. Now, that's not an absolute, because they could just be feeling generous and throw in a couple extra ships and go 20% over, because you're not getting 20% more. And so anyway, we'll continue on here.
Cargo space. My Obelisk has 650,000 EHP and at 440,000 M3. So if I'm taking all the valuables, I'm bringing the knuckle, baby. You gotta get the large lad coming out. Now the Fenrir and the Providence, the other 2 freighters, they're just not as good in my opinion. The Fenrir has better align time than these freighters, but you're not gonna need that. You're gonna see why in just a moment. And the Providence is more of a balanced fit. It has decent tank and decent cargo. I'd rather have one or the other. And let's talk about why all this works the way it works. When you're out and about going from A to B, typically there's going to be gankers on a gate that will scan your ship down and your cargo and your fit. This means they're going to know how much HP you have and how valuable your cargo is. They are then going to go talk to their buddies and say things like,
Hey, how many ships do we have? We got a guy with 500,000 EHP.
they just do the math and see how many catalysts or the similar ship that they need to bring to take this sucker down. And if
Which
you
is
have
exactly
way
what I was
less
talking about.
EHP, it makes it easier for them to take you.
And if they don't know that you have those implants, then they many times will not figure right. And they don't always. I mean, so I can tell you when I've had the full implants in and somebody's attempted to gank me, they haven't gotten me. Now, it'll happen sooner or later. It will. And I've been killed in a freighter before. But it's less likely that they're going to get you. And so, but you still can't carry too much, because if you're carrying a shit ton in there, which is way more valuable than a regular ton, then they're going to throw extra ships at you for good measure.
Out. And in fact, if they see a cargo expanded fit freighter, they immediately start going into a frenzy saying, oh, that's the guy. Your goal when you're hauling in high sec is not to carry the most stuff, but to be as minimally juicy as possible. So all this said, the rule with freighters is always start with full brick. So when exactly are you supposed to fly the Avalanche then? The Avalanche is best for moving PI and structures. And speaking of the Avalanche, anybody want one? That's right, one of the viewers of this video is going to win an Avalanche hull that's 3 billion-isk, y'all. Let's make someone's day. So in order to be entered into this giveaway, you must be doing these 3 things. First thing you gotta do is subscribe. My bot's gonna know if you're not subbed and you're gonna miss out on 3 billion-esque. Second thing you're gonna do is go into the comments and type, Avalanche me, Loru. The third thing you're gonna do in that same comment is is put your in-game name. I need to know who the heck I'm going to send the contract to. Typically, we announce the winners a couple days after the video goes live. And y'all, I'm super stoked to be able to give back to you. Thank you very much. We almost doubled the amount of patrons we had from the last video to this video. It's working, y'all. The brand is growing. And thank you for sharing this video with all your buddies. Super stoked to give somebody an Avalanche. And now the moment you've been waiting for. Let's talk about the large lad and how you can use it. This is one of the biggest ships in my arsenal, the Avalanche, coming in at a massive 700,000 EHP. It has more tank than the Obelisk does, but it does have way less cargo capacity in its main cargo than all my other freighters. So why would you use this? Well, y'all, it's because the Avalanche has its own specific cargo hold called the infrastructure hold that at rank 4 Upwell Hauler has 2.8 million M3. I did some math.
I think it's
That's
45
times the amount my Ocketer holds in PI mats. The
5.
infrastructure hold can only hold specific items. Here's a list on what it can hold. Some notable ones are all PI commodities and command centers, fuel blocks, refined ice products, and moon materials. It can hold so much, y'all. I love this ship. And the nuances of the fit are where stuff gets.
So you still can't be hauling too much value, and so you need to be careful of that. Just because it has all that space doesn't mean you need to fill it up. I mean, seriously, it doesn't. So
it's interesting. The Avalanche is the only freighter that has a decent stat grid that lets it equip more than just bulkheads and a couple stuff in the lows. So we've got a single blinged out damage control on there. That one
Syndicate
module is going to take
or
our EHP for 477k up to 700k. We are
how much is an Avalanche right now? They're like 3 billion. And if he has nothing in the holds, has he got another 1.6 billion in fit? I mean, well, these look, I don't know. They're 3.6 to 3.7 billion. So he's got a billion fit. Let's say he's got a billion ISK fit. It's like he's already got the fit, he put his cargo value into the fit. That's what I'm concerned about. It's like he doesn't have anything left over for his cargo in value. Because see, too, you got to think of all these resource spots as cargo. Because they can drop whenever you get killed. You can drop whenever you get killed. And so it's potential loot. Just as if you're carrying that kind of value.
Are also going to add some shield tank to this ship. I recommend going with double multi-spectrum and then a single capital flex shield hardener. The Avalanche is one of the only ships that can fit a capital shield flex hardener. This is a shield hardener that takes charges to run. You can run it as is and it'll give you a small bonus, but if you throw a specific kind of resistance in, you get a massive buff to that shield resistance. What I recommend is you bring a crap ton of EM shield resistance to bump up your res up to 84%. You do want to bring the rest of these though, in case the ganker ships switch to thermal or something similar. You can on the fly swap to whatever you're being hit by. Now, if you're unable to use a capital flex shield hardener, I do recommend you bling out just a basic EM shield hardener. We have a Dread Garistas one on this character because he just can't fly those yet. And speaking of differences, you know that these Upwell ships have a bite. This is a freighter that can fight back. Now, this character can only run Tech 1 missiles. We have a Tech 2 fit for you in the description as well. Follow the links, totally free. And you're going to be using a full suite of auto-targeting missiles. Now, even with the bad stats on this character, I'm getting a solid 500 DPS. It goes up even more once you get your skills up. And y'all, the Avalanche is super fun because it has a massive defense, but the offense should be thought of as defense as well. When the gankers do the math I was telling you about, and they say,
oh, this guy has 700,000 EHP, but oh crap, he's got a bunch of guns too.
They have to
how long in Udema, how long does it take them to shoot your freighter to blow it up? is it about 20 seconds, maybe 30? And then Concord is arriving. And so if this is 500 DPS and we times that by, let's just say 30 seconds to be generous. So so we're looking at 15,000 DPS. And so another thing, you can't, I think with the auto-targeting missiles, you can't select your targets. It just starts going. And so, yeah, Jack Fu says you're only going to get like 2 to 3 catalyst kills tops. Right. And they're already doing a ton of damage to you. I don't think that the gankers are actually adding anything to their formula for if you have weapons. I just doubt that they're even figuring that in. I love Loru, but when it comes to hauling, I know a shit ton about hauling. I got to tell you.
Take this into account when they're bringing their number of ships, because you're going to kill off some of their ships before they can take you out. It means they have to bring more things in order to kill you. The race is against the clock and high sec. They will die to Concord. The auto-targeting missiles are the most fun thing about this. This is a freighter, and the lock speed on this is atrocious. Something like 50 seconds for a freighter or something. But these auto-targeting missiles don't need you to lock on. The moment something damages you, you just activate the module and it starts shooting. Thanks CCP for a fire and forget freighter that does a bunch of damage. This ship is one of the safest ways to get your PI and other materials around safely. But absolutely none of this matters. None of it. If you get caught on grid while you're warping out, and it takes the Avalanche 43 seconds to start aligning out, a literal eternity.
Okay, so you can get the Avalanche off of a gate on its own without any other ships in 7.5 seconds. You do that by having an abyssal thruster, and the abyssal part of it is to where you lower its cycle time, and because it's normally 10 seconds, and so then you lower it to 7.5 with a good roll. And you have plenty of power grid here and everything, and plenty of room, so that if you do get a good roll on your timing and it causes power to go way up or whatnot, you're probably still okay. And so that's 7.5 seconds. And now, will that save you? Probably not. Probably not. I think that I think that most of the time, when gankers are targeting you, if they're just taking you as opportunity because you came through the gate and you just happen to be the next one and they're all ready to shoot something, then it may not be as sophisticated a setup. But if they have scanned you before you go through the gate, they are going to already know what their game plan is. And their game plan is going to involve scramming you. They're going to scram you. They're going to get you in something and it only takes a little tiny ship to scram you. It doesn't take anything big. So let's continue on and see what his solution is.
As far as I'm concerned, but we can take that number to 0. Yes, instant warp outs for your freighters. 0? Here's how. Y'all, I call it the tugboat. And through a clever use of game mechanics, you're gonna multi-box this character and your freighter. You're going to duel your freighter, web your freighter, and the freighter is going to warp out. That fast lickety-split, you're all done. I cannot make this more clear. Make sure you duel your freighter and not just aggro your character. I've never done this. I'm warning you, I don't want to hear in the comments.
Loru, I forgot to duel. And,
Let's dive into the fit so I can show y'all the good stuff. Now we have 2 fits for you. This one is cheaper, easier to get into from a skill perspective, but harder to use. This is the Daredevil. The Daredevil gets a pretty awesome bonus to webifiers. And with my skill, we're looking at around 84% effectiveness on this web. Ugh, it's gonna slow anything down, sheesh. And we do get just under 7k EHP, thanks to all the various tank modules that we're using in the rigs and the lows, even a little bit in the mids. We are going to run an afterburner that makes us go 1400 once you activate it. This is going to come into play later. It's very slippery as well with a sub 2 second align, so if you have to get off grid quick, this will do that for you.
Good.
The single cloak is in case you have to chill out in space and wait for your aggro timer to go down. Because you're going to be dueling your freighter, you will not...
No. You can't... You cannot use a cloak on a Weber ship. And the reason is when you add a cloak, it doubles your lock time. You need, okay, so to effectively be a Weber, you need a couple of things. One is that you need a quick lock, like really quick. And so, I don't even know how quickly this will lock on its own, but here's the fit. The fit is not a Daredevil. The fit is a Curer. And a Curer is a Blood Raider ship, frigate, which can have two webs and a propulsion, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not looking it up right now. But 2 webs and a propulsion. And the webs get a big-ass bonus to them. It's like 20% per level. And so you can web from like 20K with no problem. And then in your rigs, you are putting in rigs that help you fast lock. You don't worry about the tank on this ship. This ship is not the target. You put on rigs that are fast lock, and so that you can instantly lock as soon as you see the freighter. You already have the webs turned on. You're already close enough. You're already close enough in 99% of the cases to just instantly do it, and then your freighter will warp in like 3 seconds. It's not instant. He also mentioned that it was instant. It is not. It is more like 3 seconds if you do everything exactly right. It's not instant.
Not be able to jump gate to gate immediately. You might need to just chill and wait that stuff out. Now, because your web only has a range within 10K, you're going to want to activate your afterburner to be able to get in range of the freighter when you're going from gate to gate.
I can't stand it. I got to show you. So here is client. Here is the cure. And so the cure here has 20% bonus to stasis webifier range. And so if you're using faction where you're already getting like 15, you can get like 30K on it. And then the fitting mids 3, so you can do 2 of the webs and propulsion. And yeah, you would never use a cloak on this. So anyway, Cure is my pick for that. It's fast. You can use rigs to get a nice fast lock time. And I don't know that I have a fit for it on this character. I may have on one.
Welcome to the Dragons.
Let's see.
S87
How do you spell cure? Cruour. Oh my God. God, how am I supposed to spell that shit? You know, when they spell the name so crazy. Cruour. Ah, here we go. Weber, and look at this. We've got targeting system subcontroller, and then hyperspatial velocity optimizer. We got the dual webs. So 26 on this character. I don't know if I have a mastery 5 on this or what I've got. So no, I don't. Well, it's just because I don't have laser beams. But even at 26, that's a lot. That's a lot. And yeah, it costs 200 million, but nobody's messing with you because you're not looking. Hyena works too, but you need more skills. Yeah. So there's a couple of different right ways to do this depending. I mean, you could even go with a frickin' Orthrus or something like that. The Orthrus is going to be able to throw a web, 50 or some shit like that? It's really crazy how far it can do it. But you're just getting more expensive ships there. And
welcome to the
and really,
Dragons.
at 200 million, it's probably a good, a good level there. So
gate. The needing to get in range and a smaller tank are the only problems that this fit has. If there's a tornado or something that volleys you and alphas you off grid, all of a sudden your freighter's just sitting there, just chilling, just to wait the full duration to spool up and warp out.
They're not looking at this ship.
Yankers will know this and will target this little ship. So while this one is easier to get into and costs less, it is not the one I recommend. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Hugin. Yes, this odd-looking ship is the hero of my fleet. It is solely responsible for transporting untold billions across New Eden with safety. Let me show you how. Now, the Hugin does get a bonus to web range. This one change means that it's going to be strictly better than the Daredevil. Wow. Less micro, less have it get in range of the freighter. You can warp off sooner. A huge deal once you start.
Welcome. Thank you, Sidar. We are currently looking at Loru. All right. So we are we're going through about Loru and his Invincible zero align time freighter.
Start using this, let me tell you. It also has 50.
Oh wait, did your brain just crash when I said that? For those of you who are just here, yeah, it's because it can't be done. It can't be done. He's got some good points here. He does. He has some real good points here. But he misses the mark on this. Normally, he's really good, but I couldn't help myself on this one.
50,000 EHP. We can really fit a bunch of tank in our mid slots to get this done. This is a utility ship, so the damage mods you have are extra. I have these as Tech 1. I don't think you should bling these at all. We're going to run a single compact afterburner, just in case we need to get closer to the freighter. One pulse of this is enough to be able to get within range. And without the afterburner on, you are going to go sub 4-second align. This is due to our various modules in the lows and a single low friction nozzle joint in the rigs. You still want to be able to align out fast, just to minimize the chance that the gankers have time to check you out, see what you're doing. You also have way more utility on this ship to stay alive. Yes, we have the cloak in case we have to chill, but you also have a single warp.
Okay, so the cloak again, absolutely never, no, nope, nada. Cloak doubles your target time. 100% rule. It doubles your target time.
Core stab to make sure that if someone does lock you down, you can just warp out and cloak up. Finally, you are going to be running some EC300 drones in your drone bay. This is the final nail in the coffin. It helps to unlock anything that's messing with you. Between this, the warp core stab, the cloak, the fast align, I have had no problems even going through low sec with my freighters. Just be careful, y'all. Do I have to say the line again? Both of these fits, as always, are copy and pastable in the description for you. No typing needed, totally free, takes 2 clicks. But let's sweeten the deal, huh? In addition to the Avalanche that we're going to give away in this video, I'm also going to give away both fully fitted tugboat fits that you just saw. So if you skipped that section of the video, go on back, check out how to enter in, and don't miss out on literally multiple billions of ISK. Now, our next hauling video is going to feature jump freighters.
Okay, so it'll be very interesting to see what he says on jump freighters. There is no wrong fit on jump freighters, in my opinion. And so his technique, I look forward to seeing that. The whole thing here on this is that the actual true answer on all of this, and there's multiple right answers, but my answer is the rightest. You can disagree with me. That's just fine. But obelisk with reinforced bulkhead 2s. And I think that a Weber is fine. I think that the Cure that I mentioned, or a Hugin, like he mentioned, is fine. I don't think that the align time on those ships matters. I think that it's the lock time and the distance on the web. And so it is nothing more. And so, yeah, it's nothing more. And I, like I said, I love Loru. In fact, implants will help too. Yeah, there's other implants too. And if you're paying attention, you can get away if they're blowing you up with your implants. Like, anytime I've lost a freighter and I've had implants in, I've always gotten my pod away, except for maybe once, where they started smart bombing, which they don't typically do. So, anyway, on the way out, in Loru's honor, we're all even joyers. Except I pressed the button and the song didn't play. There it is.
Piloting my cruiser, everything's in sight. Warp drive humming, everything feels right. Ships fully fitted, ready for the fight. In the world of Eve, we're reaching new heights. I'm an Eve enjoyer, soaring high above. Battles and adventures.
Most of his stuff's spot on. This one not so much.
Join me in the universe, there's so much to do. By you an Eve enjoyer, B12. Mining in the belt, resources abound. Trading on the market.
I should put Loru's name in this song.
Alliances are forged, some bridges we burn. In the game of Eve, there's so much to learn.
But he's where I heard Eve enjoyer.
I'm an Eve enjoyer, soaring high above. Battles and adventures, stories that we love. Join me in the universe, there's so much to do. Are you an Eve enjoyer? B12.
I may have this fit in EWB as well. The Cure.
From wormholes to nullsec, the journey is a prize. Every jump we take, new challenges arise.
And he said he's going into low sec with his freighters.
Endless and wide. Come and be an Eve enjoyer, take it all in stride.
I find that interesting.
I'm an Eve enjoyer, soaring high above. Battles and adventures, stories that we love. Join me in the universe, there's so much to do. Are you an Eve enjoyer? V12, set your course and chart the path. The adventure's overdue. In the world of Eve Online, it's all waiting for you. I'm an Eve enjoyer, through and through. Come aboard.
All right.
Be an Eve enjoyer too.
You can look up Loru on YouTube, and I will put a link in the description on this video to him, so that if you're watching on PC, you can click on that. Anyway, Loru's a great guy. He has a lot of really good guides and everything. He's spot on most everything. So, but for hauling, yeah, come on over and join us and ask questions here.